What's going on, everyone? My name is Saad. Last month, I've made $100,000 with 90% margins, and 80% of it was from selling sales systems for a variety of companies that I consult with, from 6 figures, 7 figures, all the way to 8 figures. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a system build that I've sold for a company a few days ago for about $5,000. So let's get into it. Okay, so the idea of the system is pretty simple, right? We want to automate our entire lead generation in one click. So I want to be able to just drag and drop a lead list that contains a bunch of information that is, malformed, unstructured. And at the end, I want to see a campaign with a first name, last name, company name, titles, domains, and along with emails of those decision makers that I want to reach out to. Now, how do we do this, right? So typically when you want to do this, you want to scrape data and then manually upload it and then upload it to an email enrichment platform that finds the email. And then you have to put it in somewhere where you clean the company names. Well, 90% of people do not clean company names. You'd be surprised, which is absolutely stupid for lack of better words. So the idea of the system is we want to do everything automatically, right? So we can basically put the other time that we have in other high ROI activities, such as getting on those sales calls. So let me walk you guys through how the system works. So we have a watch file module. So this module waits for any lead list that I'm going to scrape using a platform, right? That I'm going to walk you guys through in a few seconds. And then we get in that file, which is typically when you scrape data, it's going to be structured in a Google Sheet. It's going to download as a Google Sheet or CSV, whatever you want to call it. And then instead of just manually uploading to an email enrichment platform or an email validation platform, just because when you scrape data, not all the data is going to be valid, obviously. So you're going to have to validate and, discard every single email or single data that you do not need. So we have another platform. It's called Mails.so. And Mails.so is just a platform where you can validate emails with. You can use any platform you want. This could be Zero Bounce, Million Verifier. I just use Mails.so for ease of use, and I do not want to deal with any headaches, right? And it's just cheap. They have a great API, straightforward API, and this is what I want, right? Whenever I build systems, I want them to be straightforward. So again, we have another thing, which is a router. Now, why do we have a router? We have a router just because, like I said, the email is not always going to be valid. So we're just making sure we are covering our bases. So only if the email is valid, then we're going to clean company names. Then we're going to add them to our Instantly account. And Instantly is basically like a cold email software. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what Instantly is, it's basically a way to send emails at scale, right? It's the best cold email software out there now. There's SmartLead. Both of them are great. So I just like Instantly, right? I'm not affiliated with these guys. I wish I could. But Instantly, if you're watching this, just show me an email. So another thing is we have another router. We have another route. We have the first route. So if the email is valid, then we're going to continue clean the company name. Now, if the email is not valid, right, then we're going to try to find the email. We are using Hunter. So Hunter is kind of like, it's an email enrichment platform, right? So you just feed in the company names and first name, last name of the person, and then it tries to find the email address. So it's going to try to find the email address. And if the email is found, then we're going to proceed to the next step, which is clean the company name and add in our lead to it instantly. Now, there's another flow here. There's another route. Now, when I'm scraping data, sometimes I'm going to find the email. No, I do not want to leave that juice on the table, right? So I want to check if there's an email, right, in that lead list. And then we're going to feed it to our Hunter, right, which is the email finder. And then we're going to clean the company name, and then we add into Instantly. So the platform we're going to be using to scrape data is going to be Crunchbase Ultimate Scraper. I'm just using the scraper because it's absolutely awesome, and you can scrape thousands of leads basically at like $30 a month, thousands of leads every single day. Now, to run the scraper, you must have a Crunchbase account, which is this one. It's basically a way to find high intent leads, to find their founders, their website, the company type, last founding dates, and also the top 5 investors, basically everything that you need about a company. Now, you want to perform your search that you want. So in my case, I'm just using an example here. I want SaaS companies that are in the personal health, health insurance, mental health, health, and healthcare from 1 to 50. And I want their their website, their funding status, their last funding amount, last funding type, basically everything that I need. I want the founders' names, website, yada yada yada. I also have the description, and they include also the email, right? Now this is huge. This is the real juice. So I have the emails here. Now I just want to check if they're valid or not, so I don't, mess around with deliverability, right? So because I want my emails to be deliverable, I want to reach the inbox. So this is why we are adding an extra validation tool, which is mails.so. All right. So let me just go ahead and scrape some data, and I'm just going to walk you guys through how it works. So the only thing that you have to do is just copy this URL. So after you are researching and you have like a results here. Now make sure, don't be stupid. Don't go over like 3,000, right? Just because you don't want to get rate limited. So copy this, go back into the list of the URL and paste that in here. And then in terms of you see all this code right here. Now do not be intimidated. All you have to do is download a extension. It's called edit this cookie. Just type in edit this cookie, go to Chrome Web Store and just add this to whatever browser you're using. Okay. And then all you have to do now is you go back to your Crunchbase, and then you're going to have it in your browser and just click on it and then click on extract the cookie. And the cookie is basically a crawler or your session cookie. Basically, like the crawler and the scraper is going to go ahead and log in on behalf of you, on behalf of this account. And the cookie is basically your ID, right? So all you have to do now is go back to your scraper and just remove all of this and paste in your cookie. Now, all you have to do again is put in the number of records required, which is in my case, I have 1,596. So let me just copy this for ease of use, for sanity, go back, and then I'm just going to remove this right here. And in terms of custom proxy, always it's residential. In terms of run options, always it's no timeout. Okay, and I click on save and start. And basically the scraper is going to go ahead and scrape all that data for us. And we're just going to have to sit and drink some coffee, right? So we're just going to wait until the scraper finishes, and I'm going to get back to you guys, okay? Okay, so I just waited like 10 minutes, and then I have all this data right here, right? So I have contact email, last funding stage, yada, yada. So I have like 1,600 leads, right? So all I have to do now, basically, just export this. So I'm going to go to export, and then make sure you always download the same data every single time, right? So I'm just going to use, so what do I want? I want categories, founder identifiers, contact email, funding total, last funding total, name, last funding at, company type, short description, funding stage, website, last funding type, and number of funding routes. You just click on download. So I'm just going to click download. And then I'm just going to name this YouTube example. Click save, right? Now the idea is very simple. I just want to drag and drop this lead list and everything is going to happen. Now if I go to my Instantly account, so there's a campaign. So here's an example campaign, right? So there's no leads, right? So no leads are found, okay? Now I'm going to go to my drive, basically. And then I'm going to go to this folder. So this is community blueprints. I'm going to go to Crunch folder, and I can drag and drop the lead list. Now let me check the system. So the system is running in the background. It's constantly checking every minute, right? So all I have to do is I'm going to go and drag and drop my lead list. Boom. And basically the system is going to run. Now, if I click on this, I'm going to have the lead list that I just scraped, right? So if I go to Sheets, here's the lead list. Now the system in the background is already running, right? So here's the lead list, and all cluttered, looks ugly. So if I go back, so now it's checking. So it's going to check every single minute. So let's just wait for this while we have some coffee. Okay. Finally, so we are adding the leads, etc., adding the instantly. If the email is found, then we're going to clean the company name, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to my instantly. And the first one has been added. And then let's refresh this again. Third one. Okay, awesome. So that's pretty much it. Now, how can you actually sell this, right? So you sell this as hands-off, meaning you sell the system plus a monthly maintenance. Okay, now how to actually sell this? I'm going to give you exactly how to do it. So how to actually do it and do it successful, meaning how do you actually get yourself in a door for companies and basically when you want to pitch your service, right? All you have to do is you sell the system plus a 3 months of free maintenance whenever something breaks. So this makes it a no-brainer offer for them. It removes the stress for the clients that if something breaks, there's always someone in the loop that's going to help them. It plants the seeds for a retainer and an additional system builds, right? So think about it. If you build in the system and they're really happy about it, and essentially now they only have to drag and drop a lead list, they can build a campaign like maybe 10 minutes instead of hours and hours and hours. Now you can basically introduce a fewer additional systems, right? You can, upsell them in another system build where you can help them enter new markets. You can just tweak the system and basically offer them a new one, which is basically the same thing. You're just changing a couple of platforms, you're changing the lead source, etc., etc. Also, it positions you as a authority and professional because they now rely on you, which is exactly how I would recommend you guys do it. It also plants the seeds for a full lead gen campaigns down the line where you actually deliver them the booked meeting. So for example, you would say, hey, we can handle the entire prospecting process. Now you have the system in house, but we can also manage everything for you. Then you say, hey, instead, we can handle everything end to end since I'm the builder of the system, so I know exactly what goes through it. So at that point, you have nothing to do. You just basically sit there on the sales call with those decision makers. So how much should you charge? So I would recommend if you're just starting out to charge for about $1,500, maybe $1,600, $2,000 max, right? Just because you don't have any skin in the game yet. You're still beginning. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can charge $5K, $6K. Now, this is a great deal for you because the only fixing you'll need to handle is, some minor rate limit issue or some team member misclicking something, or there's some API token bullshit. So that's pretty much it. In terms of the costs and the platforms, right? So the platform cost is the following. The Crunchbase costs $99. The Scraper is $30 a month. Instantly is $99 a month. Find the email or similar. You basically pay as you go. So 5,000 email credits is $99. Make.com is $19. So basically the total cost is about $300. Now the client is going to be the one paying for this, right? Obviously, you're not going to pay for this. The client has to pay for this infrastructure. In terms of the account management, how do you actually, explain this to your clients? Now, during the onboarding, you sign them to these platforms one by one. Make sure you take their hand and walk them through it step by step, especially if they're not tech savvy, okay? So make sure to get all the necessary account credentials up front. The last thing you want to do is to keep asking them at 1 a.m., hey, can you make sure you send me this password? Just makes you look super unprofessional and just makes you like a kid, okay? Once that's done, you can start linking their account, mapping their connection to get up and running ASAP. So now you are equipped with everything you need to literally not fail. I'm going to leave the free blueprint in the description. So go ahead and download it, repurpose it, resell it, do whatever you want. You have my blessing. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.